Hello Sagittarius. Great to have you here. My name is Shauna. Today's reading is a general love forecast for November 2025. As always, take the messages that resonate and release anything that doesn't. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay connected with upcoming readings. Let's see what's headed your way, Sagittarius. My third recording for you guys. So I have the cards laid out. I'm just going to go over the cards very briefly and then we'll go into the reading. I have the Wheel of Fortune in the reverse position, the Eight of Pentacles, Queen of Rods, the Moon in the reverse, Five of Pentacles, Five of Rods, Strength. Five of Rods is in the reverse position, the Hermit in reverse, the Three of Swords in the reverse, and the King of Swords. Okay, so at the center of the spread, we do have the Queen of Rods over the Hermit. And I do sense that what this indicates to me is, at least for the first half of the month, a lot of you are reaching a point where you're realizing you can't give your power away, okay? The Queen of Rods is going to represent you as a fire sign, and it can be male or female. What I'm sensing is it's coming into your own sense of empowerment, realizing how your role in as the active agent of change in your life, and as a result you're standing firm, you're holding your ground, and despite everything else happening around you, it could be financial situations that's got you really worried, it could be dealing with people coming back through from your past who want a second chance, okay? So you are, for the first 2 weeks anyways, you're going to go through a period where you feel as if, okay, this is what I deserve, and unless you give me what I deserve, you're not going to be in my life. For relationship partners, and especially on the work front, for those of you who are dealing with negotiations, especially salary negotiations, I want you to I feel like you should be realistic about your work assignments, your work description, but also be realistic about, how much it is that you're asking for compensation. I don't feel there's dangers associated with it, but I do feel that whatever work environment you're in, they might not be able to meet you exactly where you're at. So, leave yourself open to negotiation on the salary front, okay? I do feel that a period of like 2-3 rounds of negotiations and then having everything finalized and decided on is going to come through by the end of this month at least. So salary negotiation looks very good because you are projecting yourself, you are giving your needs, your wants, and your expectations a voice, and as a result you are commanding respect from everyone around you, okay? So it's a very, very beautiful energy. There might be situations, this is especially related to family coming through for this month, that I want you to be careful about, okay? Whenever I see the Five of Pentacles, I do feel that this is more of a spiritual quest, but it's also related to family. Like I said, a lot of the relationships that we have that are very important and also very karmic are with family members, okay? And I do sense that when it comes to family members, a lot of fire signs in general get a little bit too wrapped up, okay? Wrapped up in seeing the best in their family members, and also not willing to let go. Like there is definitely issues with power and control when it comes to children that I'm sensing. And there's also, being too wrapped up living through your children and things like that, that you might want to be careful about if you are dealing with children for this month. And I do feel that for a lot of you, children might be an air sign, or even like a Virgo with the Hermit card in the reverse position. So once again, I've mentioned this before, with a lot of Sagittarius, there is a very, very strong karmic tie with Sagittarius and an earth sign, okay? And I do feel for this week coming through is, I'm sensing a Virgo with this card. And this is an energy that indicates to me there might be a relationship with a Virgo in your life, or even like another earth sign that has been very, very problematic, very, very difficult. And I do sense there's a great deal of love involved from both sides. I do sense it's not just coming from you, it's coming from the other party as well. But there is just so much, karmic debt and emotional baggage. It makes it really difficult for you both to navigate the nuances, okay? So for a lot of you, this can be a family situation, and family situation can be, a spouse as well. or an ex-spouse, because they're still family. They're still somewhat incorporated into our household. So a lot of you might be dealing with an earth sign or an air sign. And in particular, if you're dealing with an earth sign, there definitely needs to be a conversation that's, some type of discourse needs to take place. And I do feel you are trying to reach out, but the other person is not responsive, okay? The other person has basically is, they're showing up as a hermit. So I do feel that they're more willing to do things on their own, live their life like every man owns an island. They're living their life like very insulated from the human experience. And they're also from coming from a place where you're either with me or you're against me, but also it's like they're willing to be completely on their own rather than dealing with people in their lives that don't see things the way they see things. So they'd rather be on their own than deal with the conflict and the opposition from other people. So either way, I do feel that communication is not coming through from this earth sign, and it's making it very problematic for you, especially if you're dealing with a Virgo. And what's helping this situation, I do feel, is an air sign. I do feel that, as a fire energy, fire and air are very compatible. And I also feel that this person is allowing you to basically tone down on your passion, on your need to express yourself in a way where you really want to be heard and you really want everything you say to get through to the other person. But they're operating from a different place at this point. So they might not be interested in what you have to say, because with this hermit energy, I do feel that it's somebody who has turned their back and who's not listening to reason at this point, mainly because it's shown up in the reverse position. It indicates to me somebody who is potentially very spiritually evolved, but they've turned their back, so they've become so isolated and they've turned their back on the human experience. So it's really hard to connect with them. And, in your passionate best, you want what you say to be heard and to be heeded by the other side. But I do feel in this situation, you're not going to get the satisfaction from the other party. Okay, so just let it go. I do feel that you should let it go. The other party might be dealing with their own work issues. I do feel that if it's also on the work front, they're grappling with some type of discomfort that they're feeling at work, and they're also grappling with relationship situations that they themselves are going through at this present moment. So getting the response and the reception that you want and expect from this earth sign might be a little bit problematic. But once again, I was going off on this. What's helping you here is there is going to be, at least if it doesn't work with this relationship partner, there's another one coming through in the form of an air sign. And I do feel this is a very karmic, fated relationship as well. It's on top of the Five of Pentacles. And when I read the Five of Pentacles, I always feel like it's a karmic relationship that something needs to be learned, something needs to be worked out. And I do feel that if things have been problematic in the past with an earth sign, moving forward, you are going to gain traction and momentum with an air sign, okay? So for a lot of you, air signs are Aquarius, Gemini, Libra. And I do feel that this is a beautiful energy. And this person is not expecting a heavy emotional relationship from you. They're not expecting, one of those burdensome, like really emotionally trying, um, emotionally bogged down type of relationship. They want something airy and light. They want something a little bit more romantic, and where both parties can approach this as adults and not expect and not have like unrealistic expectations for one another. So I do feel it's a beautiful energy coming through. They are looking at your past heartache and your pain, and they're telling themselves, I'm sensing this air sign, he or she is telling themselves that okay, I know what you've been through, we've all been there, so let's help one another get through it, is what I'm sensing. So it's a really beautiful, mutually beneficial relationship, and it's also in the spirit of advancement and progression. I do sense that this is a very, very suitable relationship partner for you. I also want you to know they themselves have overcome a big hurdle in their lives. Okay, they've overcome a lot of heartache as well. And they're looking back at it and they're like, I'm learning from this. I'm going to be a much stronger person as a result of it. So I'm not going to let it get to me. Okay, so it's a beautiful energy, even though it's showing up as a king. I do feel for a lot of you, this could be male or female, and I do sense that this is when you've met your match. Okay, this is somebody who is going to be there for you through thick and thin, and who might be able to help you in terms of getting through the struggles, the whatever slump you're in. If you've been in a situation where you've dealt with an earth sign, you got your heart broken, I do feel this is a person that is going to restore your faith in relationships in general. Okay, this card also comes up as an advisor. Okay, so if you, for those of you, we do see like a de-escalation in financial gains here. We're starting with an 8 and we are de-escalating to a 5, okay? And then there are 5 days left, or 5 cards left at the end of the month. So for those of you whose fortune has been, taking a turn for the worse with the Wheel of Fortune, financially, I do sense that work situations might have you worried. For those of you who have not been successful about finding a job, landing a job, or even knowing how to juggle and balance your financial situation, I do feel that there is going to be that voice of reason, or at least a consultant coming through that can help you navigate this situation, okay, when it comes to financial gains. And I do feel, as fire signs in general, you don't have like a strict control over what goes out and what comes in. So it would be in your best interest, if you are facing financial difficulties, if there has been a separation from a love partner in your past and you're now, trying to make it through life on your own. And a lot of you might have dealt with like broken relationships and divorces and separations, dividing up the assets and things like that, okay, on the romantic front as well. If this is something that you're not familiar with, and I don't feel that I feel that you're feeling very optimistic. You know what you want to do, but I do sense that on the financial front, it would be in your best interest to consult an advisor, or at least, get that whole counseling process in order. So what I'm sensing is, for those of you who are, like, who just graduated from college, for example, and you're at a point in your life where you're feeling very, very enthusiastic. You finally have that college degree, and you're going to go out and find a job. And then as soon as you get into the job market, you're realizing, okay, I need to get an apartment. I have to get all these things lined up in a certain amount of time. And as a result, it might drain your finances, and it might be destabilizing at the end of the month. And seeking the advice like exit loan counseling or something like that is going to be more beneficial for you. And at least it's going to ease a lot of the anxiety that you're feeling about being on your own, okay? Financially. I do feel as well that it's a very, very positive month in terms of getting your life on track with the Chariot card, in terms of de-escalating conflict in your life and reaching a point where, a truce, or at least reaching a state of mind where you're feeling as if you're not going to let other people's opinions, their ways, get to you or affect you. Okay, so it's a very, very beautiful energy, and I do feel this energy is coming through, like that closure, that sense of empowerment is coming. It's permeating all through the month, but more than anything, it's coming in by the end of the month, in which healing has definitely taken place on your end, and you're going to be okay. All right. I also feel that in general, we do have Mercury in retrograde, and I do sense that the period by the end of the month, a lot of secrets are coming out. A lot of information is siphoning through. I don't feel that they're rumors or anything like that, so there's definitely truths to it, okay? Truths to whatever is being revealed. We have the moon in the reverse position, so which indicates to me a lot of clarity about people, people's motives, about major important relationships in your life and the direction that they're headed. I do feel that this is something that I want to warn you about, okay? So this is not going to apply to all, but I do feel for the majority of you who are dealing with a family member, in particular a Virgo, okay? So the message is coming through. it's looking like this. And what it's indicating to me is this is a very strong karmic relationship that is in your life for a reason. And this is something that I do feel that you're going to have to learn. Because with the moon card in the reverse position, it indicates to me that in the past, you've worked really hard at this situation, and it's very, very one-sided, okay? There's only one person in the picture working at a relationship that's meant for two, and one person is paying off the karmic debt, and the other person is basically weaned out of your life. So I do feel the karmic debt is paid, and both parties can walk away from one another, and it'll be okay. You know, you're not going to cycle back in one another's lives, because this is the end of an era, okay? The balance, that karmic balancing act, or that karmic scale has been balanced out. So moving forward, it is in your best interest for both parties as well, but mainly for you, to let it go. Just let it go, all right? And I know that family member relationships with family members can be karmic, but if they're not serving your greater good, if it's like perpetually like riddled by conflict, then you, in order to preserve your mental health and your peace of mind, it is also important for you to let go, okay? I know that as a fire sign, you constantly want to give people the benefit of the doubt, and you always want to reach out to people, and you don't hold grudges. You tend to let things go, and you want to reincorporate people into your lives, even if there have been like falling outs over multiple times, multiple falling outs. You still want to reach out and, you know, establish firm connections and have the other person in your life. But if it's draining you on a from a mental health standpoint, just let it go. And I do sense that this situation should be out of your life for good, okay? Because in the past, it was very unbalanced. Moving forward, it's also quite unbalanced. And you've done a lot of healing work. So it's just, you're at a good point right now to move forward rather than to look backwards, okay? So Sagittarius, I'm actually very happy for this energy, because I do feel for a lot of you, there was an earth sign as early as like 3 months ago, and even like, you know, it can be a family member, it can be a situation that has dragged on for quite some time, and you don't really, you're at your wit's end, and for this month you're coming into a point of clarity, and you're figuring out a resolution in order to make this, in order to get past this and move on with your life. I do see that if it's a romantic partner, there is a new partner coming through, and it's going to restore your faith in humanity and this person greatly. There's also some type of cosmic energy bringing this person about into your life. This air sign is going to be a lot better for you in terms of creating more of a light-hearted and mutually beneficial relationship where both parties can help one another restore past hurts, past wounds, past disappointments, and restore your faith in relationships in general, okay? Aside from that, I do feel that the work situation is definitely gaining traction and momentum. We have the Eight of Pentacles with the Strength card, and I do feel that you're going to have to, there's a little bit of a tediousness when it comes to the work environment for this month. And I know that's not something that you're completely happy with, but I do feel that you're just going to, you're in a good position now to make a lasting impression on the work front and to also steer things in your favor on the work front. So there is a situation that requires a little bit of a tedious, you know, time investment. Make sure you do it right so that you don't have to do it again, because we might be in danger of having to go back, sift through it, and redo some type of a work project. Okay, so keep that in mind. It's also like notorious with Mercury in retrograde, so the first 2 weeks, work very diligently, and I do feel you are, and you're in a good frame of mind where you're not distracted by relationship issues or whatever it is that is external to the work situation, where you're not able to concentrate on work. So you're going to be able to concentrate, and you're going to be able to do things just fine. But I do feel an element of having to go back, fix something is in the cards if you're not diligent about, you know, not making mistakes and things like that, okay? So be very, very cautious on the work front. Everything else looks very, very stable. And relationships themselves look very, very stable. With this new energy coming through, that is providing a different perspective for you to approach your life. And you're going to meet a partner, I do feel. For those who haven't already met this person is coming in for this month. And an air sign is going to be a very good energy, a balancing energy for you. I also feel that for those of you who are single and looking, I do sense that